There you are.
Hi everybody, Sarah here from the Paper Cut. We are in Crafter's classroom today, and first thing we're going to do is check um, to make sure I have an image, which I do. Oops, and sound, which I hear myself, so we're good. So we're in Crafter's classroom. We're going to let a few people get on here. So hang on. Okay. Um, we are doing our Triple the Fun Craftalong, so we're going to go down to the table right away. Tracy's here with me. My mom is out partying today in Madison, Wisconsin. I told her to be good. She said she was going dancing. And I said, well, where? Where are you going? And she's like, um, I don't know. She's just going along for the ride. So hang on. We got to go. Did you go overhead view?
I haven't yet.
Oh, overhead view. Tracy's
Okay.
going to go overhead view. Sorry.
There you
I
go.
didn't say that. So we should go down to the table. We'll be there in just a minute. There we are. We're down at the table. And right before I started, I was checking things and it was working fine. And then, like 2 minutes before we got on, I was like, all of a sudden my view changed. And so then I had to redo it. So I'm glad that I checked it like right before we started. So we are doing the Triple the Fun Craftalong. We're making these 4 cards, which we have our Z fold cards. So Tracy's here. I started to say that.
Morning.
She said morning. If any of you have questions, type them in, and Tracy will read them to me. So yeah. Oh, I put the instructions by you too. Hang on. Oh yeah, there they are. So if you need to link products, if somebody asks about a product, usually there's item numbers there
Okay.
when I'm on a certain card. So anyways, we have our Z fold cards, and we're doing the triple square and the triple circle, and then we have our mini window cards. We're doing the triple square and the triple circle. That's why it's called Triple the Fun. So let's see if everybody's getting connected. Yep, if you can't see or hear me, you can usually go on YouTube, because sometimes you get better reception there. I am going to start out with just demoing, because we have we have our Z fold card making dies. So we have our triple circle one, which is the one I'm going to demo. The triple square works exactly the same. The question did come up yesterday via email, which are good sets of layering dies to buy, because we have a ton of them. So I'm just going to go through that really quick, because I do prefer this circle set that for the little ones. We have a bunch of them, but I do prefer this one, because these are the 16th inch ones. And normally if you have punches, which most people do, because before dies were a thing, yeah, everybody used punches. You probably have the 1/8, the 1 inch, the 1 1/4, the 1 1/2. So the 16th inch ones usually don't come. So then you can intermingle them. And we have the same with the square, where it has the 16th inch ones. So somebody commented about my email, so thank you very much. I try to give you as much information as I possibly can. So yeah, so I appreciate that you guys read my emails. So let's go to the triple circle card making die, just to demo, because we're using the pre-cut ones, and I'm just going to demo how to use that die. So there wasn't a package available that was a 15 count like starter pack, and I'm just going to pull one out. So if you don't have a starter pack, that's okay. Actually, I'm going to pull 2 out. And if you, we're not doing the craft along yet, I'm just going to demo, but if you have the triple circle, or actually any Z fold card, you could craft along with me. So
What size?
what size paper?
Yes.
Okay, the size paper, I was just getting to that, is 5.5 by 11. So if you did not get the starter pack and you just want to grab a piece of cardstock, cut it to 5.5 by 11, and then you're going to score it at 4 1/4. In the starter pack, that's why it's called a starter pack. Oops, I got a hair there. It comes with that first score in it. Oh, what the heck? There. I'm shedding. So, let's see. This distance right here is 4 1/4. So if you are just pulling out a piece of 8.5 by 11, you're going to cut it to 5.5 by 11 and score it at 4 1/4. If you are using our starter pack, you already have that done. So, and again, this is not part of the Craftalong kit. I'm just demoing so you know how to use our dies. On the back of the die, it will tell you for die placement, it tells you to score it at 4 1/4, and this particular one says place it at 3 1/4. Now it depends on the dimension of this image, so you can, and that's just a starting point. I have a whole bunch of different templates that I use, and I just keep them. Some people keep their templates, and I've sent you templates depending on which craft-alongs we've done. So I have a template that says 3 1/4. Some people keep them with their dies. I just keep them all together. So the directions say to, and I'm going to get my die sheet out of here, to score it at 4 1/4, and then it says to measure. Well, instead of measuring, like who likes to measure? I don't. You are gonna, I have a template, and I can just place that because then I don't have to measure every time. Then I can just place my die where it goes by lining it up with the edge of the template. So I'm gonna do that on my non-drawn on one. I just got my nails done and it's really hard to pick up paper. So, yeah. So yeah, you're gonna see me struggling trying to pick up paper all day long. So I'm gonna line that up with my score, and I am gonna place my die on the edge of my score. And I do have removable tape here to hold things in place. I am usually a go for it kind of gal, but with this type of thing that involves measuring and the die actually staying where it belongs, I do like to use removable tape. So I'm going to place that. Now you can take the template out of there or you can leave it there if you want, but let's just take it out. Okay, so again, we have our 5.5 by 11 inch paper. We scored it at 4 1/4, and the directions say to place your die at 3 1/4, and different directions for different dies. And then I have my die cutting machine here. Now when I'm using dies that have scores to them, I do not use my metal plates. So just because the metal plates are really hard, and sometimes if it's too tight, it will actually, that score will cut your paper instead of score it. The scores, you'll also notice, are not as deep as like our machine scores that we do on our big machines here. You can feel that bump there. With a die, with the little metal dies, and this goes for any of them, the score is not as deep just because of what they are. One important thing, if you're using a big shot, this die is 5 3/4. The big shot is 6 inches. So you have to be very careful that it's placed in the center. Now, if it's not placed in the center and it's hanging off as you feed it through, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to ruin my die, this will get caught and it will bend. Even though it's metal, it will bend. Here's one that somebody sent back to me, and they said it was defective when they got it. Well, it was not. It was a user error where it was sticking out and then it got bent. So I just caution people, the metal will bend if you, get it caught as you're running it through. So caution that to make sure it's all the way on your plate and not hanging off an edge. So I'm going to make sure it's straight, and then I'm going to run it through. And again, you are not necessarily doing this unless you're crafting along with me. So it cuts your 3 circles. I'm going to very gently pull off my removable tape. And the scores are not as deep there. So if you're using one of our pre-scored ones, you can definitely see the difference between our score on our big machine and the little scores from the dies. So you're going to fold it forward, and then you're going to gently fold it back, especially because these are very narrow. So you want to be kind of diligent there. And there you have your Z-fold card. Now, depending on the shape, some of them come really close to the 11 inch. For shapes like your scallop circle, scallop rectangle, some, will be hanging off, and then you're just going to cut that even on the back. And also, this 3 1/4 that we did right here was just a guide. If you want to see more of this area right here, you can just back that off. So you can put this wherever you want to put it. And that's kind of what the beauty of this die is, rather than having one that cuts all the way around that doesn't have any flexibility. This one has a little bit of flexibility. So I'm going to show you one more thing with using the card making die. You can also use it to make an overlay. So say we have a piece of pattern paper, and this we could pre-cut.
Her
question.
Vanda's was crooked. How would she fix that?
If it's crooked, you can kind of force your scores. So if it's crooked, top or bottom, you can kind of push it up and then kind of force these scores to where they go. Otherwise, that's one good reason to use a template, because then you can make sure it's lined up. Or the other thing is make sure your score is straight. So if you were scoring yourself, use a score pal or a scoreboard versus hand doing it, because then you get a straight first score, and then your next score is straight. Because if you hand do it and it's crooked to begin with, then it's going to be crooked all over. But that's why I use a template, because I can make sure that that's nice and straight. I can hold it in place with my removable tape. But yes, if it's crooked after you do it, you can usually, push it straight and then kind of force these scores to be a little bit off of where they originally were. So good question. To make an overlay, like the front panel right now is 3 3/8. If I cut this, I'm going to cut it to 6 inches tall because I want it a little bit taller, and I'll show you why. And then I'm going to cut it to 3 and I think 3 1/4. So, because that will give me my first layer. So right now, if I am layering this on here, I'm going to have a little bit of border right around here. Let's move this off to the side. So I'm going to use our card making die and just set it either right up to the edge, or in the die, the score goes about halfway in between. So I can push that die a little bit off the edge and kind of center it. Put it on there. And I never usually do a demo like this while I'm doing the Craftalong, so geez, I'm hoping that I have enough time to get through all the cards. I'm doing the hardest one first. We'll do the 2 Z folds first, and then we'll go on to the triple windows. And if we don't have time, those are, since everything's pre-done, it's pretty self-explanatory. So anyways, now this overlay fits on top. It does fit flush to the circles, but you have your little border over here. And then I left it a little bit long, so in case you didn't center it perfectly, we could cut a little bit off right there. So I usually take this, I take, a pen or a pencil, and I just draw those lines. And then when I'm cutting it, I cut it a little bit in from those lines. So, and then after this, we'll get to our Craftalong. So I should have said this to begin. If you haven't weeded this one out, go ahead and weed it, because we're going to use that on the first one. So while I'm still working here, if you did not weed your snowflake background die, do that. Should have said that 10 minutes ago. Oh well. That was in the So now we have where we have borders going all the way around. So that is how to use our card making dies. Both if you buy the cards pre-cut, you can still buy the die in order to make your overlays, if you would like. So let's go on. Try to put things away as I go, just because. Okay, so now we're going to go to our first card, which is that one. And I have all the pieces loose. Now, if you're ever missing a piece, if you are watching the live, so if you are watching the live with me right now and you're missing a piece, go ahead and comment and Tracy will write that down. If you are watching the replay, go ahead and email me at Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at thepapercut.com, because I don't go back and watch all of the comments. So this is one of our pre-cut ones. We're going to fold back. So we have our card. Then let's just go through some of our pieces. I'm going to set my card off to the side. We have our little flag. We have some circles. We have some sparkly circles. I'm just kind of setting them up how they layer together. And then this layers on that. We are going to stencil these two with the die cut, and this we're going to cut a little strip. Now I think we put gems, since I didn't have like an actual package, I think we put gems in this package to use in a couple of the packages, or vice versa, we put it in a different package to use in this one. So this right here, I need to make you guys do something, right? So we're going to take our die cut and we are going to stencil it on there. Now I have a Post-it note and I have my removable tape. I'm going to push these up a tiny bit out of the way. I have a teal ink pad that I've tested to make sure that it's approximately the right color. Now, this die does not match all the way down. So that's why I said a Post-it note or a piece of scratch paper, because we're going to stencil down here and you'll end up with a clear line right here. So, and just let's talk about this really quick, because we're going to try and connect them. Like I connected mine right here and I meant to put those down at the bottom. If you want to connect them about this far up, then that's going to get covered up by your word. So, or if you want to connect them, like when you first looked at this, you probably did not even notice that. So it's not a huge deal. But if you want to connect them about, I don't know how far that is, let's say 1.5 inches to 2 inches up, because that's where your words will go. Yeah, that is like 1.75 inches, but it doesn't have to be an exact, just be a go for it kind of gal. Let's see. I like to hold it in place. Now I did use our 100-pound cardstock for this just because it is, you know, kind of delicate in here. And if you have those magic mushroom pouncers, which I don't have them yet, that might be a good thing to use because you can pounce down instead of brush blending like that. Now,
Hey, Sarah.
Yes.
You mind just kind of talk about how the end of the template kind of goes down again? Just kind of quickly go over that just one more time.
Sure. So the end of, starting the template right here, this one?
Yeah, how a little bit up
okay.
is where the words are.
Yeah. So right here, if you want to connect your, like we have to connect these two together, and on my sample I connected it right here. But if you strategically do it so you have about 1.3 inches, so if the bottom of your template is right at about 1.3 inches, then you can cover up where we're connecting these with your words right here. So you can kind of see that this kind of lines up right there. I did use removable tape on the top and the two sides, and I am using a piece of Post-it note right here, because then I don't get a big white line right here, you know, and more brush blending right there. So I want to kind of protect this bottom area, and I'm using just a Post-it note down there. Or I could use a piece of removable tape. But I just kind of strategically placed that about 1.75 inches up from the bottom so this word covered up where they connect. Again, not a huge deal because right here is my connection, and you probably didn't notice that unless I told you. Well, you might have, but okay, brush blending. So very gently, because this is a delicate die cut, and if you have the magic mushroom and you want to do that, you can do that. And if you just say the heck with it, I don't even want that background on there, that's up to you too. I don't really care. It's your project. You do you. So now, if I pull that off, see I have my, and now we can just turn it around. And we can, it doesn't matter because if it's about 1.75 inches, we're just going to connect those. But see how I tried to connect those when I originally did it? And I'm just going to cover that bottom part up. So now we're only doing about 1.75 inches.
You're right, Wendy. Her fingernails are very pretty.
Thank you. You should see my toenails. I'm not going to take my shoes off and show you those because my feet are not that pretty, but the nails are. I don't get my nails done that often. This year now I have twice. So there. See where it's right there where it's connected. Not a huge deal. So we are also going to brush blend on the side of this. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to brush blend just a little bit. If I can pick anything up with my nails. Okay, so see how I just did that off to the side? And again, I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to kind of do it very light because this one it's going to connect here somewhere. So you can try and connect it wherever you want. I'm not really that picky about it because I'm just doing one side. So like this one is going to end up turning around, you know, or I could do it on this side. It doesn't matter. You just do whatever. I just happen to take the tape off of this side. So I'm going to do right here. And I'm going to put a Post-it note right here. And because I don't want to get, actually, yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking out loud. Hang on. Slide under there, dude. Okay, so now I am going to just mask this off a little bit. And I am going to mask this off because I don't want to get very much. Actually, I don't even need to mask it off because I'm just going to go a little bit over here and just make it, see how I just did very light. So light right here and it just got lighter right there. So I don't even need to mask off because I'm not going to get anywhere close to there. And I'm going to start out over here. And now I'm just going to go over here, just get it lighter as I go in, so darker on the edge. And this just added just a tiny bit of color. And see how I only went in about 1 inch? So now I do need to get a little bit right here. So I'm going to pick the area that I think matches the best, which I might not be able to find one, but that's okay. It's just a very light background. So just adds a little bit of snowflake to that border. So now we can take this off. You can save this. You can use it for something else. I know it's not a stencil. I did talk to Mitra from Impression Obsession, and she said she thought about doing a stencil, but it was too late in the year, so she didn't. So she said she will have one for next year. So, but I always use her background dies as stencils. just because I like them. Okay, so let's go on, and now we're just going to go to assembly. We're at 8:58. We go, oh, so we have 45 minutes. We're doing good. Okay, we're going to get out our adhesive. Oh, we can cut one thing before. So right here, this piece, I just cut a piece. Our trimmers don't always do a great job cutting that, so sometimes I just let you guys do it. I think it's about, I'm just guesstimating, it's about 1/4 of an inch. But you do you. You can cut as much or as little as you want. And then whatever piece you have left will be, you know, you can just have another piece of silver mirror card. So yeah, that's going to fit down here. So we can cut that. We can get that out of the way. That's an extra piece of silver mirror card for a different project. Now, we did talk once about attaching things to the glitter paper. I use my ATG. It attaches pretty good. If you have like a little dot roller, not so great for attaching to the glitter paper. Foam tape, great. Wet glue, great. ATG, pretty darn good. Dot rollers, not so much. So we're just going to go ahead and attach that. I'm going to pull out my 1/2 inch wide one. So now this is mostly taping together and then foam taping. And remember which side you did top and bottom, because when I did this one I made the mistake of putting my wrong side on the top. But again, hardly noticed until I pointed it out to you, I hope. We have our card base. This piece is going to go on the inside. Now almost everything goes on the one side, and you can decorate this inside. On the other one that we're doing, we are decorating the inside a little bit, but I have like cut an overlay, whoops, not for this one, but for a different one, where I cut an overlay to go right here, and I cut an overlay to go right here, and then you could put things on these circles. So you could have stuff on your circles while it's folded, stuff on your circles while it's open. So, all right, so we're going to use adhesive to attach this to the inside. We're going to use adhesive to attach this to the front. Now, I do have it a hair long. I am going to trim just a tiny bit off. I don't know why we have it a hair long. Occasionally that happens. So if yours is long and you want to cut a hair off, you can. But let's just get our adhesive going. All right. So next we'll be going on to our triple square Z-fold, and I'm not going to demo the how to do a Z-fold again, because it's basically the same technique, same procedure. The difference might be in the dimension of your template, although since we're using another triple, it's probably really close to the same. Now I did kind of center these between this edge and where my circle is die cut. Totally up to you where you want to center it. All right, and that's going right there. Alrighty, so we already have this piece. We do need to cut the length. I'm going to wait and do that after it's attached. So I'll pull out my narrow tape. I did cut mine a little bit crooked, but you know, if somebody tells you that your thing is off by a 32nd of an inch, they are not on your handmade card list anymore. They are off. Somebody should just be saying, thank you for the handmade card, it's beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little scissors and just lop that off. Pick up, Sarah. Now I end up, I remember this from the last time I got my nails done, where I have to slide everything off because I can no longer pick it up. And I am going to pop this up with foam tape. My foam tape, if you've seen this off to the side, I do like, this is just a ribbon spool, and I cut some of my foam tape so it's easy to grab off of there. Just one of the little Sarah tips. Especially when you're in a craft along and you have to work, you know, not at your own pace. Well, you can start and stop me. That's fine too. Yeah, Marion, slap them if they say anything about your paper being crooked. I did line this up with the edge right here and kind of centered right in the middle of the little point. And then I have these set up the way they go. I did attach my silver ones flat. So I attached my silver ones flat, and then I popped up my 3 snowflakes. So we'll turn those over. Oops. Yeah, my mom said to me, "Can you get somebody else to help you?" And I don't know if she told me what she was doing. And then yesterday I asked her, you know, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm going to Madison to dance." I'm like, "Oh, okay." "Are you staying overnight?" "No, I have to work the next day." So that's where she's at. We'll have to find out. We'll ask her on Thursday night how her dancing trip went. So, but that's great that she's, you know, getting out and about and going, hanging out with people, dancing. Okay, so now I'm just putting foam tape on these, and then we are ready to move on to our next card. And we're still great for time. I do have a bigger hunk of foam tape sitting here. That's sticking to my... Foam tape sticks to your fingernails when you get them done. I don't think I put the circles that I use for these just because some of these I did use punches when we're kidding. Sometimes it's easier if I have a punch that works to just toot, 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 toot. Alrighty, and now we are going to just put some gems there. I don't know what they put in your kit, but I'm pretty sure you have gems in either this kit or a different one. I'm not sure. I should probably get my tweezers out, Sarah. That would be a smart thing to do. Uh-oh. Oh, hang on. Going under the table. And I made it back up. I hate it sometimes when you get the little bit of glue off onto the side. I don't like that. I'm usually not too picky, but that one little thing irks me. Irks my irker. Okay, so we have one card done. Yay. Let's go on to our purple one. So that's this little guy right here. This is my extra piece of silver mirror card, which I'll put that off into my little pile of grab bag stuff. So it'll go into somebody's grab bag when we do grab bags. So let's see what we have. We have the little snowman. We have this. I was missing the little silver squares, so I had a note to myself. I didn't color those ahead of time. Oh, let's get our card. Oh, and I am also missing a piece of silver mirror card because, like I said, I didn't take an actual kit. I just grabbed the pieces, and I missed my piece of silver mirror card right there. So if you, oh, I have silver mirror cards sitting right next to me. So I do have the capabilities of cutting a piece. So I'm going to cut a piece of silver mirror card that fits on there. So these three pieces you can layer together. Don't layer them on the front of the card because you're going to tie them into a bow first. So I'm going to go ahead and layer mine on this big piece, and then I'm just going to trim it after so I don't have to measure. So you guys should be all pre-cut. But I just grabbed loose pieces. So hopefully I cut mine to the right size. Okay, hang on, I'm behind you. You're not worrying about cutting because yours should be pre-cut into your kit. And then that's going to layer right on there, close enough. Yep. And then you're going to tie your string. So yeah, the triple square, if you are hand cutting your own, this one says 3 1/8 because the shape must be just a little bit bigger. And again, like I said, that's just a guideline. If you want more space seen down the side, you can cut a little bit more. So we're just taping. I do have to color and fussy cut, which I should have done that before. So let's get this big piece taped to the inside. I'm putting off tying the bow. Can you tell? Because yeah, with my fingers, I don't know how my bow tying skills are going to be. I mean, they're not that great to begin with, and then you add fingernails on top of it. So this is going to attach right there. Make sure it's not a little bit long. I gave you plenty. I don't know how much is in yours. I just cut a hunk. But, ugh. Okay, what I'm going to do is put adhesive on the back, attach it right there, and then maybe I'll try to tie my stupid bow right away. Okay, I do have to cut mine shorter. So if you do need to cut yours shorter, go ahead and cut it shorter. I hate it though when I cut things shorter and then I cut them too short. Okay, so tie this into a little bow or a knot if you feel like. Actually, when I did this, I think I tied it into a little knot first because then I could get it nice and tight. Although, there we go. Yes, I did tie it into a knot. And if you don't have it tight enough, you can always tighten it up on the back. Yeah, now you get to see Sarah struggle there. I did it. Yay. Although now I'm going to futz with it a little bit. Last time I did not tie my little bows on our little bells. And then I'm just going to pull it a little bit towards the bottom. So I'm just going to twirl it down there. I'll wait to cut the ends off later. But now I'm going to put tape on the back. Now if it was loose on the front, now on the back you could always pull it tighter with adhesive. So you pull it tighter and put adhesive over it, and then you put adhesive in a few more spots over it, and it should stay. That's my little trick, so if it's loose on the front. And I did put this like halfway centered in between. Don't untie it now, Sarah. You're committed. And you could use a little bit of crystal lacquer to just attach it if you wanted to. Now I did pop I'm attaching this flat, which again, that's going to hold our ribbon in place, or our bow in place again. And then I used foam tape to attach my word circle. But yes, this is going to hold it in place again. And then I can use a piece of foam tape to attach our circle. Oops. All right. Then I can trim these little buggers off. All right, now for attaching our squares, I'm doing the coloring last. These two I attached straight on with adhesive. This one I popped up with foam tape. And then I popped up my circle with foam tape too. And I think you would use one of the gems. There should be extra gems in your other kit for the middle of this circle. I do like to attach my shapes with this closed rather than open, just because you can kind of see where that square is. So these two I attached flat. Flat, oops, and flat, and pop this one up with foam tape. Now let's see what I did on the inside. I don't even remember what I did on the inside. And then I'll do the coloring. Oh, there you go. That's what I did on the inside. So I took one of these and I just attached it. Again, we are going to trim a little piece of silver mirror card, which you probably have silver mirror card left from the last kit too. So if you want to conserve a piece. Where are we at? 9:15. We still have a half an hour. Yay, because we still have 2 more cards and I'm going to demo the card making dies. But I need to do my coloring. I'm going to do, it's a pretty quick color, so I'm not too worried about it. So this is cut to about 1/4 inch also. And that's just attaching right there. You can, trim it smaller if you want. Alrighty. Okay, so now we are on to our snowman coloring, and your mittens and stuff. You can color them whatever color you want. Let's see, what did I use? I think I used these. Oops, there my phone went. Bam. Well, what the heck. All right. All right, so let's see, the colors that I think I used, because I didn't write them down, are, I know BV01 for the light purple, and then V17 for the dark purple. For my orange, I used YR04. I like to use a little light gray C1 for just some highlights. And then my blues, I either used BV01, that's a really light blue, or BV45. So let's go and just color. And then this guy we're going to just attach. I tell people all the time, when you're doing your Copics, pull off the one with the gray band around it, because that gives you your brush, and then I go ahead and do it wrong all the time. And it might have been BV02 because this one doesn't seem like purpley enough. Oh, and I don't have a BV02, so it had to have been this one. Oh yeah, it is purpley enough. So yeah, it was BV01. Not that it totally matters, but some people like to know the colors, but you can use whatever you want for coloring. But these are just quick colors. But yeah, if you want to color them all blue, you knock your socks off. Oh, probably my little cheeks there, that I probably used R20. That's a good, like, blushy type color. And then probably a darker gray. C5 would be my dark gray for the charcoal. And then a little light gray in through here. And let's see if I have my R20. Yes, I do. For the cheeks. And I did use a little bit of foam tape to attach him on there. So hopefully we'll finish this guy up in about 5 minutes and then we will move on. All right, so you can, I gave you some extra ones in case you like the teacup better or the ice skate. Totally up to you what you want to do. I don't know, sometimes I just always give you a little bit extra in case you want to use something a little bit different. Maybe you want to make it a coffee card or something. Or if these lines, if you're just not feeling doing the different lines on your card. Actually, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to color that solid, and then I'm going to try and see if I can color blue right over the top of it, because I'm not feeling it either. It worked. Worked good enough. And the ice skate would be super easy to color. And that was homework if you didn't want to get putsy during class, so you could have done that ahead of time. I didn't do my homework. Oh well. I don't get in trouble from the teacher if I don't do my homework. Alrighty. And then we're going to do a little fussy cutting. Now, Impression Obsession does have dies for these, but they did not have the dies when I ordered the stamps. So otherwise I probably would have had Becky die cut them out for you, but she was probably liking that I didn't have the die. But they do have a matching die set to go with this cute little set of stamps. Okay, markers off to the side. And we'll just do a quick little fussy cut here. I like to get some of my paper moved out of the way before I start, going in and doing the actual thing. And I do leave some white around the outside. right. And you could glitz these up with a little bit of, you know, Stickles or Winkostella or crystal lacquer. You could make them a little dimensional. Flower soft on the top of the hat. Whatever you want to do. Okay. So now a little bit of foam tape, and then we are on to the next card, which I'm going to start demoing first. So we're going to go on to probably the triple circle mini window card, because the other one, I don't know. The other one has die cut that I didn't weed out yet, and that one's a little putsy.
And you're down to 20 minutes.
20
just
minutes.
So that you know.
Alrighty. Okay, so now we are going to move on to our triple circle mini window card, which let's go on to this one. If you, let's see, I'm just going to pull out a piece of paper here. So I am just going to take this and cut it into a 4 1/4 inch card, because I didn't bring a scored card up here. So for the triple dies, this one, I'm just going to open this. We are not onto this one yet, but I'm going to demo really quick first. The dies, 2 of them come in a set, the smaller one, the larger one, and they are right here. The larger one matches this exactly. Okay, so this one, this larger die matches this exactly. The smaller one is smaller, obviously. So if you want a layered look on the outside, you would cut the card with the smaller one and some type of overlay with the larger one. Now let me see what I have back here for paper. Hang on, I'm going to cut a piece of paper. So if you're going to do a piece of an overlay, hang on. I'm just going to cut a piece of red paper. You would think that I'd have paper ready to go. So if I'm going to cut an overlay for the front of this, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I can cut it to 4 by 5 1/4 or 4 1/8 by 5 1/4, depending on how big of border you want. So I'm going to cut it to 4 by 5 1/4 because that's a pretty easy one to cut. So I have a layering swatch for the front. I can cut your bigger one, your bigger set of circles is going to be the overlay. Your smaller set of circles is going to be your card. I like to cut my overlay first and then cut my card after. So this can be placed anywhere. So ours standardly is at the bottom, but say you want to place it right down the center. Or you can use this just to make a card base just like that. Or if you want smirkles, if you want circles, you can just use the smaller one. Or you can use them together. So you can use them individually or you can use them together. But I'm just going to place it right here. I like to cut my overlay first. And where's my top plate? Okay, Sarah, where did your top plate go? It is not here. Oh, my machine is sitting on top of it. So we have our overlay, and then we can take our little one and we can place it right in the center of it. So we have our overlay placed where it's going to go. Make sure it's placed where you want it. Then we have our smaller one. We can place it right inside those circles. Draw those, pull that off, reline it back up, place it down with maybe a clean piece of tape would be nice. And then we are going to put this through our machine. So this is a little bit quicker demo than the other one. Pop those out of there. Oops, I didn't have my pressure tight enough. Pop those out. Hang on. My pressure was not good. Okay, so now we have our overlay that sits right on the top of that. So that's one way of using them together. If you have, and let's see, I have another piece of paper right off to the side. I'm just going to cut another one because I want to show you one other thing that you could do with that. So if you wanted to make an overlay for this card, this matches exactly. So you can place your paper on the inside of here, and then you can draw those circles, or just kind of, I would draw them with pencils. Now I'm using a red pen on a red paper. So I'm going to just go and so you can use either die actually. So you could use this die and line it up, or we could use this die. And even though I'm going to do the bigger one, I'm doing a black marker just so you can see. Because we're not doing this. This is just showing you how that you can use that card making die. So now we can take our big one, and I made the little hash marks, and I can line that up, or I can line those, you know, those little circles in the center. I'm on my big shot. I actually like my crossover better, but so, and then we have an overlay that matches that card. So you can still use the bigger one to make an overlay. You just don't have it the layered look like you do when you use the little one and the big one. So you can use these together. You can use them separate. Either way. There's options. Or if you need to punch a lot of circles, you can die cut and save these circles because you can turn them over and use them for another project. So let's get those all off of here. Let's go on to our cards. So yeah, that one is a little bit easier and a little bit more self-explanatory. And let me get my machine a little bit out of the way. All right. So I think we have, we have 13 minutes left. We should have close to enough time because these are mostly just assembly. So for this one, I gave you 2 different words, depending on if you, whatever one you wanted to use. You have 2 small circles, a big circle. Now, this longer sheet, there we go. Depending on, some of you have ones that fit exactly. Some of you have a little bit bigger piece of blue jewel. So you might have to cut that to 5.5 and then to fit on your glitter paper. So there's that cutting. This piece, we're going to cut 2 of them to about 1/4 of an inch, one for the inside, one for the front. So let's get our cutting out of the way first. So of that aquamarine, you're going to cut 2 approximately 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch strips, or wider if you so prefer, whatever you want. There's plenty there to do that with. And then you have a hunk to save. So mine, I do have to cut it to 5.5, and then I'm going to tape this piece on. This bigger piece is for cutting 2 circles out. Now, if you have a circle punch and you want to cut 2, otherwise you are just going to really fussy cut those. And if you leave a tiny bit of blue going around them, it's okay, because that blue kind of matches this stock. So anyways, I'm going to cut my glitter paper. So depending on the glitter paper that you have in your kit, you are going to cut it to 5.5 inches. And then you're going to cut the width too. When I cut my width, I'm going to attach it on and then cut my width. Oh, about the paper for this one. This one is Cryogen White, which is, it's a really nice, curious stock. And I tell you that, but I also tell you that it's discontinued. We only have it left in the shop in these cards. So if you really like the Cryogen White, this is one way to get, is that Steve the mailman? Hi, yeah. Steve.
Hello.
Hello. I don't have anything for you.
All right, I got a big package for Brian.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
And 1 letter.
Okay.
All right, see you Monday.
See you Monday. So anyways, if you really like the Cryogen White, and I trimmed mine a little bit too short, too narrow. If you really like the Cryogen White, you could get it and have this backside for a postcard size layer. So it's like an awesome stock. But the words, when I went to print the words, I wanted to print them on Cryogen White too. Well, we don't have any. So this one is Shimmer. It's very similar. It's from the same mill. And instead of having just the little mica in it, which you can't see on camera, but if you have it in your hands, you can see it. This one has a little bit bigger silver little flecks in it. So that one's discontinued too, but we still have stock left of it. So where is my card base? Oh, I put my card base in the back here with all the rest of the stuff that I die cut. So this is going to attach onto there. I might have to trim a hair off of one of my aquamarine strips, which is okay. So, and the other aquamarine strip is going to go inside here. So when you're kind of placing it, place it kind of so it goes center through those circles. So I'm going to get some tape on some of this stuff. One of my aquamarines I cut just 1/8 of an inch off. The other one goes edge to edge on the inside. I have to figure out which one is which now. This one's the shorter one. Now everything's sticking to my nails. There we go. Okay, so when I'm placing this one in here, I just kind of want to set it in there. Stickiness. Get it off to one edge. Make sure I'm like centered. Then I can open it up, you know, and make sure it's going straight. And if I'm hanging off the edge a little bit, I can just snip it off. This one I'm going to place up here, centered top to bottom. I'm going to place my aquamarine one on there, centered. I'm going to pick whichever words I want, but now the 2 smaller ones I attached flat through the windows. These 2 I popped up with foam tape. And I am moving a little bit faster now because we have 7 minutes left, and I just want to get to the other one. And like I said, if I don't get to the other one, it's pretty easy. We'll talk about it. But the punching out the die was a little bit harder. It was a little putzier. So this one fits exactly through the window, so you might put it in the window and then pop your window up. And then we have our winter time. Then we have these two guys that we're just going to attach through the window. And then I did just fussy cut out 2 of these circles, or if you have a punch, you can go ahead and punch them out. They're just not exact circles, so that's why I did not punch them out. I had one that was close, but I kind of liked it just fussy cutting them better, and that's why I gave you a little bit bigger sheet so you could pick whichever 2 you wanted to. Or if you want to do something different, rock on. You do you. And then in this kit there was some little pearls. Okay, so these we're going to
5
pop
minutes,
up.
Sarah.
Alrighty, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like these I did not cut perfect, but it's okay because it kind of blends right into that glitter paper. So you wouldn't know that they aren't cut perfect unless I told you that. So I'm not going to stick my pearls on. I am going to trim out a word here. And like I said, we give you a couple different words depending on what you want to say to somebody, and maybe you wait to put that on until it gets closer, and then you're like, oh, perfect saying for whoever. I'm just going to trim that, and then I have my word. Then we're going to go to the other one. Just really quick, we won't finish it. I apologize. But with the demoing, yeah, it did take, I was not sure how it was going to go. But the other one I think you can do on your own. For our winner this morning is Linda Carnes. Congratulations. Up next is Jewel Time with Misty. Now, if you are watching on YouTube, you do need to refresh. Or no, you do need to, actually, where did my sample card go? There it is. If you're watching on YouTube, you do need to get off and go on to Facebook again, because Jewel Time with Misty will just be on the Crafters Classroom page. And we do have a sale code going right now, just through tomorrow. Winter 23. It is for, and I had a little cheat sheet here. Don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. 15% off at $25, 20% off at $50, 25% off at $100, and then there's some freebies too. So that's our sale code. Just going to go through this really quick. On the we still have 2 minutes. On the inside, these 2 pieces just get attached together. And I gave you 2 bigger strips, so you're going to cut those into like 3/8 inch to a 1/2 inch strips. However big you want them to go on the inside. Now I cut that crooked. So don't cut crooked. Well, you can cut crooked if you want to, but try not to. I'm going to try and cut another one because that's bothering me. That one's better. Okay, so that one goes on the inside. And then on the front, you have a piece of silver mirror card. And again, you have a bigger piece of silver mirror card that you're going to cut a strip off for the front. So that's going to go on the front. This piece, you can see it's swirled on the back, so whichever side you want to use gets attached, and you pop it up with foam tape. Your hugs will go on there, and then right here you have snowflakes, so you're going to pop them out of there, whatever ones you want to use. And I did use a bunch of these little dots, so I don't know that you can see it, but a bunch of the little dots that are in there I used just randomly on there. Oh, and this one has gems too, so maybe the gems are in this kit. I'm not sure. So I might have said that wrong earlier. The gems may be in this kit. So
1 minute, Sarah.
1 minute. Okay. We are finishing up here. So anyways, there, and this word does go on the inside. And it does get backed with silver mirror card, but you have a pretty good size hunk left over from cutting that. So let's finish up and just lay our samples out here. Again, I apologize we didn't get through this one, but this one is just an assembly only, and I've already demoed the... We're going to stop. Hang on. Let's lay our samples out. Okay, so lay our samples out. So thank you for joining me today for Crafter's Classroom and our Triple the Fun. We will see you next week.